Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Movie Creepers. Today we're diving into Severance Season 2, Episode 6, titled Attila. And let me tell you, this episode doesn't hold back. From intense character moments to a whole lot of mystery, it leaves us with more questions than answers. In this recap, we'll unpack the key moments that had us all on the edge of our seats. Let's get into it. But before we jump into the exploration, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on future videos. Thank you. Let's begin.
What?
Season 2, Episode 6 explored unanswered questions and shocking twists. We kick off the episode with Mark Scout in an intense therapy session with Dr. Igabi. He starts by recounting his conversation with Gemma, or as we know her, Miss Casey. This moment is crucial because Mark is still processing her bizarre behavior in the previous episode. He reflects on how she rattled off a bunch of facts, which felt more like a nightmare than a genuine conversation. Dr. Rigabi quickly reminds him that Gemma is essential, but Mark is struggling to reconcile the way she spoke with how he feels about his own grief. There's a powerful moment where Mark touches on the bargaining stage of grief, where people try to do anything to bring someone back into their lives. But for Mark, it's different. He realizes that, for him, this bargaining could actually be real. That's a haunting realization, especially considering the world of Severance and how much Mark is still processing. Meanwhile, things are heating up in MDR as Dylan reveals more about Irving's mysterious sketch to Mark and Helly. The sketch depicts a dark hallway with an elevator that only goes down, which makes it clear that Lumen is hiding something deeper in the building. They speculate that Ms. Casey might be down there, and Dylan tells them that he left the directions behind the poster in the break room. Mark's hesitant to investigate, but Helly steps up, ready to uncover what's behind this secret. It's interesting how Dylan is still so cautious, not wanting to risk trouble, especially since his outie wife, Gretchen, is such a big part of his life. But Helly, as usual, has no problem pushing boundaries. She wants to find answers, and her determination is really starting to shine. In the midst of all this secrecy, there's some personal tension between Mark and Helly. Milchick's earlier threats about them sharing vessels weigh heavily on both of them, and it leads to a revealing conversation in the bathroom. Mark finally confesses that he and Helly Saudi's had sex, and it's a bit awkward at first, but Helly processes it with surprising ease. She even wonders if it's all just another tactic from Lumen to drive a wedge between them. The awkwardness doesn't end there. Helly opens up about her anger toward her outie, Helena. She's frustrated that Helena used her body to manipulate people, trick her friends, and even control her every day. It's an emotional and raw moment, and it shows just how much Helly is internalizing the trauma of being severed. Mark and Helly's relationship is still evolving, and it's clear that they're starting to rely on each other more, even if it's all against the system they're trapped in. On the flip side, we get to see Milchick struggling with the aftermath of his performance review. His office is dark and filled with paperwork, and the tension is palpable. It's clear that the criticism about using too many big words has stuck with him, and it leads to an intense pep talk in front of a mirror. Milchick's anger builds as he repeats the phrase, "You must grow up. You must abandon childish folly," over and over again. It's unsettling to watch him break down in this way, especially considering how much control he's usually had over the severed employees. His unraveling hints that he's under much more pressure than we initially realized. Expect him to come back next week with a more ruthless approach. He's not going to forget about those critiques. Back at the outie family visitation suite, Dylan and Gretchen have a heart-to-heart, and we learn that Dylan's outie really does have a deep need to find meaning in life. Despite being totally different from his innie counterpart, Dylan's outie has been through a lot, trying on different hobbies and phases. He's still searching for something to excel in, and his confession to Gretchen about wanting to be with her all the time is one of the most tender moments we've seen from his character. Their relationship dynamic continues to grow, and it's clear that Gretchen is warming up to him. But there's an undercurrent of tension here too. Dylan's outie is still holding something back, and Gretchen's emotional journey may not stay simple for long. With the deepening connection between her and Dylan's innie, will she begin to question the boundaries between the two versions of him? That's a major question heading into the next episode. Meanwhile, Helly and Mark's bond deepens as they share an intimate moment that doesn't feel like it's controlled by Lumen. In an empty office, they set up a tent and have their own private experience, where Mark finally feels like he's having an experience of his own, not one that's dictated by the company. This scene was emotional and beautifully awkward as we watch them break free from the constraints that have been forced upon them. It's a small victory in the face of everything they've been through, but it's also a powerful moment of agency for both characters. Their chemistry is undeniable, and this shared experience seems to solidify their growing connection. They've taken back control over their lives, even if only for a brief moment. Now, let's talk about the big twist towards the end of the episode. Mark runs into Helena Egan at a Chinese restaurant, and things get a little uncomfortable. Helena is as flirtatious as ever, but there's something off about the way she interacts with Mark. She plays coy, pretending to be sympathetic about his wife's death, but it's clear she knows much more about Mark's personal life than she lets on. This interaction is strange, because Mark doesn't seem to buy her act. When she flippantly mentions his wife's name, Mark immediately corrects her. It's a subtle but powerful moment. Mark's not going to let her play him for a fool. The fact that she's so comfortable in her power, sitting down with him and chatting like it's no big deal, leaves us wondering, what's her real game? While all of this chaos is unfolding, we also get a glimpse into Irving's growing relationship with Bert. The two sit down for dinner with Fields, and we learn that Bert's path to Severance is much more complicated than we thought. It's not just about work for him, it's about his afterlife. He got severed so his innie could live on in heaven with Fields. The conversation between Bert, Fields, and Irving is layered with complexity, and there's a lot we still don't know about Bert's motivations. But then, Fields bluntly asks if Bert and Irving's innies had sex, a comment that throws everything into question. What kind of relationship do they really have, and how deep does their connection go? As the episode ends, we're left wondering if there's more to their bond than just a simple dinner. Severance Season 2, Episode 6, is a whirlwind of emotions, revelations, and mysteries. We've learned more about the characters, but we're still left with a ton of questions. What's really going on with Helena? Will Mark survive his reintegration procedure? And what's the deal with Bert and Irving's relationship with Severance? This episode raises the stakes in a big way, and we can't wait to see how everything unfolds next. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content on Severance. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.
You okay?